It means the world to me to be here in Northern Kentucky. Well, it couldn't have happened without the city of Erlanger. They were completely instrumental in this support. It's such a wonderful thing for them to be able to come out and let everyone know that we are here.
Got it!
I love seeing a residential piece of property turn into a thriving business. Transitioning them into a professional office use is it's exactly what we are wanting to see all along Commonwealth.
It's wonderful. It's actually part of my business model. My other practice location is also in a home. It was a big draw for me to be able to have the support of the city of Erlanger with the grants and everything that they provide.
We're truly hopeful that they will set the example for others to follow.
Part of the appeal was location, location, and location. I knew that this is not a residential street. This is the gateway to Erlanger.
Letting businesses who want that traffic, letting businesses come in and take over some of those houses and improve the structures, improve the look, and be a vital part of our community is just a wonderful thing.
Erlanger is probably one of the most business-friendly environments in all of Northern Kentucky.
Got it!
We thought, why not invest in those homes, provide money from the city to start your dream.
To encourage business development on and around Commonwealth Avenue, the City of Erlanger offers something known as a CAP grant. Eligible businesses in the residential to office conversion zone and mixed use zone can obtain a 50% reimbursement up to $40,000 for exterior and interior capital improvements in converting a residential property to an office or constructing a new office building. All told, it maxes out at a $20,000 investment from the city.
When people leave here, they come in and they just rave about this property, and I think we could have them up and down the Commonwealth corridor with some effort and some work from the city and some developers and realtors that could see the same vision that I have.
I see Commonwealth as a main street. So it is the main thoroughfare through our city, and it has the potential to become an economic driver. We've seen that with Bob McNichol's property and his financial business. We've seen that with Rose Gynecology. These are two exceptional examples of what the possibilities are for all of Commonwealth.
We believe in this district, we believe in you as an investor, and we really want to see that come to fruition.
The entire time that I've been involved in the city of Erlanger, I have always heard that our department is one that is revered. It is one that is held in high esteem.
We thought with our 75th anniversary being this year, what better time to, get all the officers out together, and we'll celebrate the 75th anniversary, and we'll also do our national night out and kind of, just be in the community and celebrate with everybody.
I think that's one of the most important things that we can do as public servants, and law enforcement is absolutely crucial, is interacting with your community on a regular basis so that when it is an emergency and it is one of the worst days of your life, you're seeing somebody that you're familiar with.
You know, one of the things that we want to showcase is Erlanger Police Department is cutting edge in training. We're cutting edge in the equipment that we have.
But the canines are always the fan favorite. I mean, officers are great. Canines are like,
The officers that we hire, just their them personally, are great people.
there is a loyalty and a support system that are in place in the city of Erlanger that give the police officers the confidence that is necessary in order to go out and do their job the most effectively and compassionately as they possibly can.
We are very, very proud of our officers. Thanks everybody for coming out to our 75th anniversary.
All right, it's 7 o'clock. I now call the September 3rd, 2024 regular meeting of the City Council to order. Our invocation tonight is going to be given by Sherry Jackson. She is with the Erlanger Christian Church. Thank you so much for being here. There is a little button on your microphone. There you go. Wonderful.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your invitation once again. I'm going on 3 years of being the interim, and I don't know how much longer I'll be here, so I may be back. Let us pray. Good and gracious God, we give you thanks for this beautiful day and for another opportunity to be part of your ongoing good work in this world. We lift our hearts, O God, in thanksgiving for those leaders gathered here this evening who have answered the call to serve your people in various ways. We recognize they have been tasked with great responsibility, and we pray for your Spirit to guide them along paths that bring healing and wholeness to those living and working within this community and beyond. We pray for your Spirit of truth, justice, and peace to flow in, through, and around them so they might lead with compassion and mercy, wisdom and grace. Grant them humility and courage to seek your will over their own, trusting that you will lead them towards actions and decisions that are in keeping with your desires and for the collective well-being of this community. Bless them now as they engage in the work that comes before them. May they have ears to hear, hearts and minds open to receive all you are longing to share with them. We pray also for ourselves. No matter our spiritual beliefs or political affiliation, we are each called to care for one another, recognizing that the decisions we make each day, big and small, impact those around us. So help us to be kind, patient, caring, and respectful of all those we interact with each and every day, filling those places and spaces of our lives with your boundless love and grace. Guide, lead, and direct us in all that we do and say, so we might be a blessing to someone along the way. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. That was beautiful. All right, please rise for the pledge. All right, I'll ask Mrs. Hoffman to take roll, please.
Ms. Nicely?
Present.
Mr. Cahill? Ms. Kyle?
Here.
Mr. Skidmore? Here. Mr. Hermes?
Here.
Ms. Skidmore? Here. Ms. Reckers?
Here.
Ms. Jasper Lucas?
Here.
Ms. Wilson?
All right, thank you. All right, you've received a copy of the minutes for the August 6th, 2024 regular council meeting and the August 27th, 2024 special council meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to be made at this time? Okay, seeing none, do I entertain a motion that we adopt as presented? Ms. Reckers, Ms. Kyle, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. You've also received a copy for this evening's agenda. Are there any additions to be made at this time? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion that we adopt as presented. Ms. Reckers, Ms. Kyle, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. On to our special presentations this evening. Our first is our business spotlight, and we have Dynamic Catholic here this evening. All right, and a presentation. Welcome.
Wonderful. Thank you for inviting us here tonight. My name is George Jostin, and I represent Dynamic Catholic along with my colleague Cheryl Wood. We're just going to talk about what we do, who we are, where we're at, and the many good things that are happening here in the city of Erlanger through Dynamic Catholic. Mr. Glenn, if you don't mind clicking it, there is a video in here that we will bypass tonight. It is tongue-in-cheek humor, but in the interest of time, we'll bypass our short video here. So go ahead and click again. If you accept, yeah. And if you just hit the next button down below, there's that little flashing. There we go. Okay, so at Dynamic Catholic, we meet people where they are and lead them to where God calls them to be. Go ahead and click the next slide here for us, if you would. If you click it again, mission and, sorry, I apologize, go back. Our mission is pretty straightforward, is to re-energize the Catholic Church in America by developing world-class resources. What that looks like too, just for you guys that are here, we develop various resources, Catholic learning programs. This is Decision Point, which is our confirmation prep program, but we also do First Communion, First Reconciliation prep. We do marriage preparation, we do baptism, amongst other things. And we got about 10 programs that have either been developed or are near finished developing. And we send these out to Catholic parishes across the nation and sometimes across the world to help with said learning programs. We also produce various books. A lot of them are by our founder and CEO, who happens to be Matthew Kelly. Here's just a sample of the 400-some titles that we carry. We sell about 4 million books a year through Dynamic Catholic, and it all gets distributed primarily out of our warehouse here in Erlanger, Kentucky. We are over at Olympic Boulevard, too, near Sterling Cut Glass, off of Turfway and Olympic, for those that don't know where we're at. Our vision is to be the innovative leader, but we're setting a high bar for what it means to evangelize in the Catholic Church, and we're doing that through world-class content like some of the stuff that I've talked about today. If you go ahead and hit the next slide. A little bit of background. I think you can hit this one too, Mr. Glenn, one more time here. Founded by Matthew Kelly in 2009. He is originally from Australia, but chose to start the ministry here in Cincinnati. We are headquartered, though, again in Erlanger, Kentucky. If you want to click to the next one. This is our first bit that kind of launched us into the stratosphere, which is just some research about what makes an engaged Catholic. And so that's really where Dynamic Catholic was born out of this idea, the 4 signs of a dynamic Catholic being generosity, a prayer life, a spirit of generosity, and then discipleship. If you want to move to the next slide. A little bit about him again, born in Sydney. Him and his wife and their 5 kids do live here in the greater Cincinnati area, but again, we call Erlanger home for our operations. I'll let you go ahead and click to the next one. I think this is important just to highlight who works here. This map has not yet been updated with all the transitions that we've had to the area, but we recruit nationally. We go to career fairs all across the United States to recruit talent that both have the skill set for the jobs that we're hiring for, as well as the culture fit, because we are a mission-focused organization. So we take hiring very, very seriously. It's built on the Who process. It's a book called Who that we've built that on, but you can see the many states represented. So we do try to attract a ton of people here, and a big selling point, of course, is our location and the various amenities that come with that. If you would click to the next slide. So we do talk about the different amenities of Cincinnati. Big city amenities, small city feel, professional sports teams. We're really trying to attract talent to come work with us on site. We are a location-based organization with about 70 employees right now on staff. If you would click. So from an office culture standpoint, our values are committed, coachable, and aware. We do a lot of hard work in the ministry to appeal to the Catholic Church across the United States, but we also like to have a great time. So, these are just some of our highlighted pictures here, but a lot of that, again, happens at the epicenter in our headquarters here in Erlanger. If you would click to the next one. Keep going for a second, Mr. Glenn. I'll tell you when to click again. So again, I just want to talk about some of the programs that we've launched right here. Decision Point, First Confirmation. Every year we do Best Lent Ever and Best Advent Ever as part of the liturgical calendar. Right now, during our Best Lent Ever program, we have about a million email signups. So these are people that are going through a daily program. They're consuming content digitally through video and through written word that they're reading to engage them during that season. And on any given year, we have about 500,000 people from across the nation that join us for our Best Advent Ever program. You can see a list of the other ones that are going on right here, as well as some of the future Catholic moments that we're working on currently. Mr. Glenn? We're going to skip this. You might have to hit this twice. This is a great video, but we'll spare you guys tonight. So if you click it again, it's a great recruiting video. So just a sample of our positions that are open right now. We have many on our website, but it comes down to customer service, our project management, fundraising. We do a lot of prospect research as well, and we offer summer internships. This last summer, we had 7 interns join us from universities all across the nation. Of that, we had 5 offers go out. So it was a pretty exciting year for Dynamic Catholic to attract talent, and we look at internships as a very low cost and low risk way for people to come experience our work, experience our mission and our team, also to experience the area and hopefully sell them on a full-time opportunity post-graduation. If you would click to the next slide. So this is our current benefits, and what I'm really proud to say is our benefits philosophy, primarily as an organization, is that we cover 100% of employees' health insurance premiums. And I'm not talking at the employee-only level, I'm talking all the way up to the family tier. And it's one of the ways that we attract people, but it's also one of the ways that we hope to retain people, is providing enough stability in their personal lives where they can serve the Lord through the mission of Dynamic Catholic and also provide for their families. So that's one of the many programs and benefits that we offer, and our goal is to continue to offer that as long as we can based on the generosity of the donors at Dynamic Catholic. The one thing I want to add to this slide, though, is the Erlanger Road Park. So I'm really hoping, whether it's this meeting or future meetings, that we get to put one of the benefits of working at Dynamic Catholic is that Erlanger Road Park, okay? Holding you guys to it. So that's the big thing there. Before we turn it over for questions, though, really quick, I did want Cheryl, my colleague here, just to kind of step in and just briefly talk about the EDGE incentive and the impact that that's had on us at Dynamic Catholic.
We are so grateful for the benefit that we receive from the EDGE incentive. It is an important and it's a significant amount for us that goes directly to our bottom line and then allows us to invest that money in our mission, our programs, and most of all, like George highlighted, the benefits that we do offer to each and every one of our employees. So it definitely is significant, and we are very grateful.
What did it amount to last year?
I think last year we were around 20,000, 22,000 maybe that we received back in the incentive. So yes, it is very meaningful for us.
So on that note, we just like to reiterate our gratitude for the city of Erlanger. We get to work in a really beautiful spot back there too, off of Olympic Boulevard. I invite you guys. I know the police have been back there. I personally invite them sometimes just to do a wellness check, for the various cars out there. So thank you, City of Erlanger Police. I know Fire and EMS have been out there for some, smoke alarms going off too. But honestly, any of you guys are invited to come check out our operations and see, the ministry that's happening right here from Erlanger, Kentucky, that's reaching, I'm talking millions of people a year, through the work that we do, and we're just grateful to be able to say that Erlanger, Kentucky is our place of business. So thank you guys for having us tonight. Any particular questions?
No questions for me. I just did want to reiterate, I did take up George on his offer to visit Dynamic Catholic. It's beautiful back there. It is really impressive, the amount of space and work and how thoughtfully designed their office is. And I did look, George, there is a perfect spot to tie in to the park. I'm not promising anything that council hasn't heard here, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we can tie you guys into that work.
We're right there. We are right there. So we look forward to it.
Awesome. Well, there's more information about this to come, but October 23rd is our groundbreaking, and we would love for you guys to be there.
We might just go out the back door. We'll join you guys down there. Count me in.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate it. All right, our next special presentation is our oath of office of our new Assistant Fire Chief, Brad Foley. Woo.
Mayor, council, guests, thank you for being here. As she said, this will be an oath of office for our Assistant Chief position with the retirement of Assistant Chief McQuarrie. He's created some big shoes to fill. Brad's got over 24 years experience in the fire service. many different positions that he's held, and we really look forward to seeing what he's going to bring to the command staff and bring to the department. So we're really excited for this tonight, and let's get this underway.
Just say your name after I say I, okay? I do solemnly swear to do my duty as the Fire and EMS Assistant Chief of the City of Erlanger to the best of my ability, to serve my commanding officers with respect and dignity, to serve the citizens of the City of Erlanger with compassion, courage, and integrity, and to uphold the laws and constitutions of the United States of America, the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and the City of Erlanger. So help me God. Congratulations.
Well, I didn't prepare anything, but I just want to thank my family for the love and support. And to the men and women back there, they make me a better fireman, a better leader, a better lieutenant, and I thank you guys for your support, and I love you all. Thank you.
All right. You need to. All right, so there is nobody listed for public comment. We'll go ahead and move on to the mayor's report. Just something I wanted to touch on. We've seen this picking up over the past couple of weeks, a lot of park destruction. And it's something that I just want to put out to those that are watching on Facebook or watching on YouTube. If you guys know of any information of the park destruction that's happening at Cahill Commons or at Silver Lake Park, please give us a call. We want to know what's going on and why this is happening. So any information that you have, we have had quite a few boards kicked in of the new portalet enclosure at Cahill Commons. It's brand new. Our guys put so much time and effort into not only the design, but the build, and it's such a, I don't know, a letdown when we have individuals that are not taking care of it as they would take care of their own things. And then the new sign at Silver Lake Park, I guess somebody hung on it and bent some of the letters. So these are really easy things that could, I don't know, lessen the costs and the time that are then wasted. So if you guys know anything about any of the destruction or can put a stop to it, that'd be awesome. So, City Administrator's report, Mr. Glenn.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, Council. Just a couple things. Cahill Commons, again, the ribbon cutting. We talked about this at our Parks Task Force earlier this evening. It's going to be held this upcoming Saturday, September 7th at 10 a.m. So it's been many years been many years in the making. So, this is a two-phase project that was planned even years before that. So we've got 3-4 years of time invested in this awesome park and the makeover and the name change, and this is going to be a great event. At the caucus meeting, I'd like to have Sherry put a couple things on our list of items to discuss. We have a budget amendment that we're going to propose to council. There's going to be 3 things that we plan to have on the budget amendment. One will be Mark's marketing budget. That was something that was set at the beginning of the budget year for a 6-month trial, and he wants to provide an update and a look moving forward on that. Firehouse number 1 feasibility study. So we've been meeting with a company, a consultant, to kind of look at what our next step is in moving the firehouse improvement project forward and the possibilities. So we have a feasibility study that I'll get out to everybody so you kind of can see what we're looking at doing as far as getting a better understanding of the firehouse and what's necessary for move forward. And we're trying to plan this so that way we have good budget numbers for the 25-26 budget year. And lastly, we have some restructuring of the general government staff, and we want to kind of get everybody up to speed on what that is with some salary adjustments. So that'll be the 3 items that'll be part of the budget amendment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. City Attorney's report, Mr. Gatlin.
Yeah, we have several things of legislation on, and I want to just kind of briefly talk about a couple of them. First is the second reading of the medical cannabis. Again, that's kind of a 2-part ordinance that we're doing a second reading on. It is allowing it in all those zones that are being discussed, and it's overturning the county bans. We're kind of combining both in one ordinance. Second ordinance is the tax rate ordinance. That's pretty self-explanatory. Next, we have a resolution discussing a proposed text amendment. This is a little different than what was discussed at the caucus meeting. At the caucus meeting, we discussed moving forward with a resolution for the gentleman that was here for the tattoo, doing it as a permitted use in that zone. And we kind of looked, and it's a conditional use in every other zone. So PDS's recommendation and my recommendation is for it to be consistent with all the zones and to do it as a conditional use within the mixed-use zone as it already is in the commercial zones. Again, it's up to council. If you all want to do it differently, let us know when we get to that point of legislation, or we can discuss further at another caucus meeting. The difference being is if it's a conditional use, there would be a 2-step process. That we'll have to do the text amendment, and then any applicant would have to go to the Board of Adjustments for an approval to operate as a tattoo parlor. Again, the only reason I'm making that recommendation and PDS is making the recommendation is just to be consistent. Again, if council wants it permitted everywhere, then my recommendation would be that we should do a text amendment saying that in the commercial zones it should be permitted as well as the mixed use. I don't know why we would have one zone different than the other, so we can talk about that in legislation. Next, we have a resolution as it relates to a grant. Most of these grants go through without a resolution of the city. However, this grant does involve Councilmember Hermes, so very similar to what we did with the Skidmore several years ago. We have to put on the record, and council has to approve the grant. We can talk about that more at the resolution. The final resolution I'm making a little bit of a change to. This relates to our franchise with Alta Fiber. I was going to say, I don't know what their name is this week. Alta Fiber. We've discussed this at a caucus meeting a while back. Our franchise is up. We need to renew it. So the resolution puts it out for bid, is a non-exclusive bid. We've already kind of pre-negotiated the agreement with Alta Fiber. It's a very unique process that you put out for bid knowing kind of what is going to happen. It's just kind of a quirk. The only change we have to the resolution that's in front of you is there was a little bit of miscommunication as to what the city currently was receiving. Our goal, what we heard from council, is you want to be consistent with what we're currently doing, so we will not be imposing a franchise fee in the sum of 1.3%. That's actually less money than the current arrangement, which is that it's paid into the telecommunications fund, which is a statewide fund, and then it's allocated back to the cities. The general understanding is that actually is a slightly higher dollar amount than if you imposed a franchise fee, but what we have found is that this dollar amount is a whopping $11,800 a year. So it's really not a huge issue one way or the other. So that change I'll be making to the resolution on the fly, and I'll be glad to answer any questions at that time. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Quinn, report on capital projects.
Thank you, Mayor. The Public Works facility is coming along. They've done a first coat of painting in the administration building. They've polished the floors. They're working on the drop ceilings and all of the administrative part of the building. They're starting the tile work in the bathrooms and the locker rooms and pouring more concrete in the parking areas. So that's coming along. We're suspecting middle of October completion. Then we'll probably be looking to do some kind of open house and ribbon cutting in November is what we're targeting. So for Silver Lake, I don't know if you've been by Silver Lake, but shelters are going up. It's quite a presence in the area down there. It's definitely a focal point of the park, if you ask me. But they are looking to wrap up that project by the end of this week, and we'll be ready for summer send-off. As you've probably seen if you've been by there, we've been putting the poles up. We're stringing lights down there currently for the event. So that's what's going on with Silver Lake. They have one more pour of concrete, which they're pouring tomorrow. And like I said, the shelters will be completed by the end of the week. That's all I have. Any questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, are there any other reports from department heads? Kara?
This is just related to the summer send-off 5K. Make sure you guys spread the word about our 5K so we get lots of participants. So we want more than last year. And right now our registration's looking really crummy. So spread the word for us. Thanks.
Crummy. All right, anybody else? You good? Okay. All right. Any reports from task force representatives this evening? Okay. Mr. Hermes?
A lot of my thunder's been stolen already with other reports, but I'll just reiterate a couple of dates. This Saturday at 10 a.m. is the ribbon cutting for Cahill Commons, and pencil in the groundbreaking of the Erlanger Road Park, the dog park especially, on October 23rd. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. All right, bids this evening. We have Theodore Place, milling and resurfacing. Mr. Quinn, do you want to give any kind of update on that?
Yes, so we had two bidders. We had Wrigler and Eaton. Wrigler was the low bidder, and they are within budget, so we'll be moving forward with Wrigler on Theodore. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Very excited for that project to move forward. Is there any unfinished business this evening? About new business? Mr. Hermes?
Do we want to discuss the November council meeting?
Good call. Okay, so November 5th is our November council meeting, but that falls on the election night. So in years past, we've changed it or we've canceled it. We do, from a staff perspective, we do want to have a council meeting that month, so it'll have to be a special council meeting. And the question is, do you all want to do it on November 12th, which would have been the following Tuesday, or do you want to just have a special council meeting prior to the caucus meeting on the following, I think it's the 19th? Yep, the 19th. Does anybody have a preference? Oh gosh, is it really? Thanksgiving is the 28th.
Is it?
Yeah. Thanksgiving is listed as November 28th. Yeah.
Are we for sure planning to have a caucus meeting that month?
Probably. I mean, we have to have a caucus meeting. It's written in the rules, right, Sherry?
Is it caucus meeting that is mandated?
Yeah, I mean, I think council certainly would have the ability to cancel a caucus meeting. I think KRS requires us to meet once a month.
What would you prefer? Okay. Anybody care? Okay, so how about the 19th? We have just a special council meeting and then the caucus meeting. Does that work? Does that work for everybody? You want to have our special council meeting earlier? You want to have it like 6:30? 6 o'clock? I know. What did we do we did it like 2 weeks ago. We had it at 5 o'clock, 5:30. And didn't somebody say, we should just do this all the time? I think staff said that. 5:30? All right.
12th?
On the 19th. 5:30 on the 19th, special council meeting, and then caucus meeting to follow. Okay.
The application.
All right, cool.
I'm on vacation, so we'll figure out who
All right, we'll be on our own.
I'll work it out somehow.
Okay. All right. Any other new business before we continue?
I have one more.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I have one more thing. So the budget amendment will also have a fourth item on it. I didn't check my notes. Police department has a cruiser that was destroyed, and it's been a while. So they've been waiting patiently, so that's good. So anyway, we got the insurance. The insurance has been paid and everything like that, so we just have to do a budget amendment to tidy that up as well. Thank you.
All right. Now's the time for legislation. Jack?
All right. All right, first, an ordinance overturning the Kenton County ban on medical cannabis within the city limits of Erlanger and amending the Erlanger zoning ordinance to allow medical cannabis cultivation, processing, producing, and safety compliance facilities as permitted uses within the BP Business Park, FI Flex Industrial, and GI General Industrial zones, to allow medical cannabis dispensaries as a permitted use within the ROC, which is the Residential Office Conversion, NC Neighborhood Commercial, CC Community Commercial, HC Highway Commercial, and MU Mixed Use Zones, and establishing use-specific standards, required off-street parking standards, and defining medical cannabis uses and related terms. There was a public hearing on July 10th, 2024 in front of the Kenton County Planning Commission, and they did recommend this text amendment, adding all of those uses that were discussed. Also, like I said, this ordinance overturns the county ban, so as of January 1st, presuming this goes through, one of these businesses could apply to come locate in Erlanger.
All right. This is a second reading. Do I entertain a motion that we adopt this ordinance as read? Ms. Kyle, Ms. Jasper Lucas. Any discussion? Mr. Hermes?
I had a quick question. Are there any other Kenton County cities that have overturned the ban ahead of us?
I mean, I think Covington has.
Covington, I think, already voted on it, and Fort Wright. I don't know if they voted yet, but I think that at least had a first reading.
There is a website that the state has that lists, and it's fairly accurate, that lists every city and county in the state and what their current status is. So.
All right, any further discussion? All right, roll call vote, please.
care of it, don't worry.
Mr. Hermes,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Skidmore, Ms. Kyle,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Jasper Lucas,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Wilson,
No.
Ms. Nicely,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Reckers,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Skidmore.
All right, motion carried.
All right. Next, we have an ordinance of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, providing for the annual assessment of all real estate and personal property within the City of Erlanger, which is subject to taxation thereby for the fiscal year beginning on July 1, 2024, and ending on June 30th, 2025, and providing for the payment and collection of such taxes and the penalties and interest thereon, and describing the purpose for which the taxes so collected shall be appropriated and used, and continuing to fund a special fund called the Park Improvement Fund to support the ongoing development of the new and existing parks. The tax rate on ad valorem shall be at the rate of $0.247, which my understanding is below compensating rate, and that the ad valorem tax on all personal property shall be at the rate of $0.198, and I recall that that is way below compensating rate. And that all taxes are due prior to December 31st, 2024. Taxes paid prior to the end of October will receive a 2% reduction, and anything after December 31st, 2024, there'll be a penalty of 20% plus collection costs and interest at the rate of 6% per annum. Also, we're just continuing what we created in 2021, which is continuing to fund the Park Improvement Fund at 12% of the real estate tax revenue.
All right, do I entertain a motion that we adopt this ordinance as read? Mr. Hermes, Ms. Kyle, any discussion? All in favor, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Skidmore? I'm sorry. Mr. Hermes?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Skidmore? Yes, ma'am. Ms. Reckers?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Nicely?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Jasper Lucas?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Kyle?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, motion carried.
All right, next we have a resolution sponsoring a proposed text amendment. This will allow Mark Collier to apply to PDS and ultimately KCPC to allow as a conditional use tattoo or body art services, which matches the treatment in the other commercial zones. Again, this will go to PDS, it'll then go to KCPC, it'll come back to us. And what was discussed in my report is that the application will be for tattoo or body art services to be a conditional use in the mixed use zone.
This is a resolution. Do I entertain a motion that we adopt as presented? Ms. Reckers, Ms. Kyle, any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried.
All right, so next is a resolution of the City of Erlanger, Kentucky, creating and establishing for bid a non-exclusive telecommunications franchise for the placement of cable systems, providing for the transmission, distribution, and sale of cable systems within the public right-of-way of the City of Erlanger, Kentucky, for no more than 20-year duration. This next line is what's changing. Instead of imposing any franchise fee on gross receipts, we will be continued to pay from the telecommunications state fund, which the telecommunications providers pay into that fund. They then allocate it back to the cities. And that will be what we currently are being funded by. And it'll be the sale of cable services to customers or subscribers inside the corporate limits of the City of Erlanger, and lease or contract of usage of franchisees' cable system or facilities, reserving the right to increase the stated franchise fee up to 5%, and further providing for compliance with relevant laws, regulations, and standards, usage limitations, indemnification, insurance, cancellation or termination, and such other terms and conditions contained in the attached cable services franchise agreement and bid requirements, all effective on the date of passage. Assuming this resolution passes, the clerk will then put out for bid the non-exclusive bid, and you can see attached is the proposed franchise agreement that Alta Fiber will be coming in. Actually, it's not Alta Fiber. They call themselves Cincinnati Bell Extended Territories, LLC. Will come in and bid.
All right, this is a resolution. Do I entertain a motion that we adopt as presented? Ms. Schreckers? Mr. Hermes, any discussion? Ms. Jasper Lucas?
Sorry, I just want some clarification on, and maybe this is not the time to discuss this, but are we removing a fee or are?
Nope. So
Okay.
my resolution was inaccurate. I used a resolution that we had done prior to 2010. And post-2010, the state established a fund, which is what we have been compensated and paid forever. And the numbers are real close. What I've been told is we get a little bit more money from the allocated fund, and it's easier for us to just stay in it. So no, we're not imposing any new fees. It's business as usual.
But we're not giving up a fee.
We're not giving up
Okay,
anything.
okay.
Everything's staying the same.
I was
We're
just a little bit
maintaining-
confused.
No,
Okay.
and that was my fault, that I think what happened is we somehow changed to do the fund 15, 16 years ago, and I'm not frankly sure the paperwork changed, or we at least didn't have easy accessible record to it. So it's my fault. So I'm just changing on the fly that what we're doing is doing the exact same thing we have been doing, and we're going to continue to collect revenue at the rate we have, which, again, I was a little surprised is only $11,800. So it's not a significant amount, but it'll be the same.
All righty, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried.
All right, next we have a resolution that I think, right. All right, so next is a resolution, and just to kind of clarify, so Tyson Hermes is the owner of Lillian Rentals LLC, and Mark has been working on this deal. He has applied for a grant, and do you want to explain kind of that? And I guess this is the building that the mayor is now renting, or that we learned of?
Yes.
Okay, so the mayor is a tenant, Tyson is the owner, if you want to.
Thanks, Jack. So the building is located at 3412 Baker Street. This application came to me last fiscal year in April. So Tyson and his wife Julie are the sole officers of their LLC, Lillian Rentals. They've applied for a small business grant. They have indicated that they are getting ready to do some work, or have done some work on this property totaling around $61,000 in improvement. So I looked at this and just sort of scored it the normal way that we always do when we get these sort of grants in. And just to clarify for everybody, why we give these monies are for four main reasons: that they directly increase future revenue or job creation. They are doing that in this case. It does decrease blight at that property. That is also doing that in this case. They are improving the business aesthetic and structural improvements. They are doing that, and that it will increase property taxes. So the $61,000, what they are doing for that is to replace the solar panels, put new aluminum storefront panels, and a new roof, gutter, soffits, and trim. So some of that work is done. As I review this, it is fully in line with why we grant these types of monies. Tyson is the building owner. Mayor is the lessee of that property. quarterly. So we look back to January 2021. Jack, if you want to pick it up from here on the process by which that we have to handle these types of situations, why it's going to come in front of you. So this is why we are bringing the resolution to you all to kind of discuss that. Ms. Reckers is the chair of the task force. We did update that task force about 2 months ago. Ms. Reckers?
So I have a procedural question. Generally speaking, the mayor would sign off on these grants as the final arbiter, or the signature rather, per procedure. Who's standing in for her in this transaction?
So typically there would be 3 signatures on these types of grant monies. It would be myself, Mr. Glenn, and the mayor. In this circumstance, Jack, I'd be happy to defer to you on that. What Peter and I had talked about was just having us sign off on that. If we need a 3rd signature, we can certainly talk about how to do that best.
Yeah, and I think ultimately council signing off is the 3rd signature, and that the minutes would reflect that. And just to give a little background, so to kind of refresh, and I've put this in the resolution, at the beginning, basically no officer, board member, or employee of the city of which a council member would be, as well as the mayor, can participate directly in any contract to the city. However, there is a caveat to that and an exception to that, which is under C, that the prohibition in this section shall not apply in any case where the following requirements are satisfied. 1, that the specific nature of the contract transaction and the nature of the officer, board members, or employees' interest in the contract are publicly disclosed at a meeting of the governing body, which is being done now. 2, that the disclosure is made part of the official record of the governing body or the city, which again is being done now. 3, that a finding is made by the governing body of the city or city agency that the contract with the officer, board member, or employee is in the best interest of the public and of the city. And 4, that the finding is made a part of the official record of the governing body of the city or city agency before the contract is executed. So our proposed resolution would be that the city council finds that all 4 provisions of the Erlanger Ethics Code are met as exceptions, and that Lillian Reynolds LLC shall receive a matching grant, and I don't remember what the dollar amount was.
So the dollar amount that he's requesting is $10,000. That is the most that we can reimburse. Again, the total improvements that he's estimating is about $61,000 and change.
And again, this is the same procedure and virtually the exact same resolution that we did 3 or 4 years ago when we had another council member's property that had requested a grant.
Ms. Kyle?
Where did you say this was located again?
3412 Baker Street.
Okay.
That's right.
So since we don't have a mayor here, I'll ask for a motion. Is there a motion? Sure.
Sorry. I just wanted to say, we discussed in our small business task force, and I just feel like it's important to point this out as well, that the funds for this particular grant are typically not all exhausted in a budget year. So, it's not like they're taking away from another business who may have received these funds, instead. We typically do not exhaust all of the grant funds for this, so.
It's a good point. I believe last year we were right around $60,000 in total for all of our incentive programs. The budget allocation is $130,000. My goal would be to talk about this more and get these grants moving a little bit quicker so that those monies are exhausted on or close to July 1st each year. We're not quite there yet, but to Ms. Jasper Lucas's point, we're trending a little bit higher than we were last year because there wasn't a person in this role for a little bit of time. But yeah, to your point, this is not taken away from anybody else right now.
Any other comments, questions? And I would ask for a motion to approve. I saw Ms. Nicely's hand up first. Do we have a second? I've never done this before. I think Ms. Kyles was up second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? I think the motion carries, and I think we've satisfied the statute. This is fun. Should we just call the meeting without inviting them back in? Probably not. We were just going to roll with it, Mayor. It was kind of fun, me calling for the motion and everything.
I'm sure you.
All right, that concludes legislation. Are there any announcements this evening? We had quite a few throughout the meeting, so are there any that we've missed? All right, do I entertain a motion that we adjourn? Ms. Kyle, Ms. Wilson, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Have a good evening.